Hello, friends, and welcome. Today's class is how to increase your energy. And I would like you to begin by standing up, and let's do just a couple of the superconscious living exercises together. The first one, we'll just do two. I am awake and ready. 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 The second one, I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I'm positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I'm positive, energetic, enthusiastic. Let's start with the prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Guru Preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Master, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. O great ones, help us to be energetic and full of thy vibrations, uplifted in thy light, every day, every moment. We are thine, be thou ours. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now as you stand there for another moment, just feel all around you the cosmic energy that's everywhere, that's enlivening everything and all of creation, and that we can draw into our bodies as well, through the medulla, into the brain, down the spine, into the nervous system, and every part of our being. So take your seats now, and we'll go ahead with the class. I'd like to start by just reading something from this great book of Masters, How to Achieve Glowing Health and Vitality. This is very brief, on energy. Cosmic life energy surrounds and permeates the body. Thus, an inexhaustible supply is always there. Mental unwillingness always brings a lack of bodily energy, while willingness always brings a fresh supply of energy. Yogoda teaches how to surround each body cell with a ring of supercharged electrical vital energy, and thus keep cells free from decay and bacterial invasion. These are such powerful words from our Guru. And I remember while I was thinking of the talk, I was just remembering how Master was so dynamic, so energetic, how he would rush onto the stage, his hair flowing, his robes flowing, and we would just shout out, how feels everybody? How is everybody? And then people would get to the level where they can understand him, where they could feel his healing vibrations, they could feel his magnetism, they could feel his energy. And that's what he's still asking us every day. How feels everybody? How is everybody? And we have to always try to meet him at his level. Now, I was remembering when I came to Ananda, which was many years back, there were many different types of people who came, who were there to give you more, help you get more energy, and I did some of those things. I was just remembering there was a woman, and some of these things worked, some of them didn't work, some worked for some people, some didn't. And she was the sound lady. She had the sound box, and it would emanate different sounds that really, they were healing for some people. Then there was a man who had lights, and he would shine those lights, different lights. He didn't come to Ananda, we went to him. He would shine different colors lights into your eyes, and that was to energize you. Then I remember there was the man who just stared straight into your eyes, and he was supposedly giving you energy. Then there was people who had crystals. There was a man who had cylinders. There were people teaching Reiki. I remember I learned Reiki, and I'm not saying Reiki's not good. I'm just saying it wasn't for me the time. But I remember when I first learned it, I was so energetic, and I pushed all Master's teachings aside and said, no, I'm a Reiki healer. And I was with Swami Kriyanandaji one day, and he came to visit the ashram in Palo Alto. And I said, Swamiji, I was in the back seat of the car. I remember we were going somewhere. I said, I've just learned Reiki, and it's so wonderful, and I feel this vibration in my hands, and it's so energizing and energetic. And Swamiji went, That's what he said in the front seat of the car. I said, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. And then he said something I'll never forget. It stuck with me. He said, maybe I should learn that too. And I thought, ridiculous. You don't need that. And what he was saying was, Diana, you don't need it either. And I remember someone else came, and he had cylinders. And we all did, many of the old-timers did many of these things. And I remember he started advising you on your health and how to have more energy, and he told me something that was completely off. I totally bought into it, and when I talked to Swamiji about it, he says, why are you listening to him? He's no saint. And this is the point. We go off in many directions. We tell, I do this, and I'm doing that, and I do this. But when you come back to it, Master has so many wonderful practices. He has everything, really. And I was thinking about the practices, the energization, practice of energizing yourself. I mean, this energization, this is a powerful tool. I'm learning more about it every day now during the virus. I'm energizing twice a day for sure, and doing energization breaks. Other people I know are doing 3 times a day or more times a day. But Master said, you heard what I just read about that, and he said that energy that's all around you can come in and heal you and strengthen you and magnetize you and energize your whole being. And he said a couple of interesting things that I don't know if people know about them. But I read where he said to get up in the mornings when you just don't feel like getting up, the alarm has gone off and you can't get up. He said, in the bed, and I do this regularly. He said, in the bed, just inhale, tense your whole body while lying in bed. And he said, inhale, exhale, tense, inhale, exhale, relax several times until you feel like, now my body's charged. And then get out and on the side of the bed, march in place and say, I'm awake and ready if you want, but march in place so your body gets ready for the day. And then during the day, instead of taking a chai break, a coffee break, this is fine. But I'm just seeing how, and especially we're promoting this here, take an energization break, even if it's 2-3 exercises, and you just feel strong. And also, there's the super conscious living exercises. We just did a couple of those. You can do those at any time. Do 1, do 2, do all of them. But they give you strength and mental strength as well. Of course, there's Ananda Yoga, the yoga postures. There's pranayama as well. These are all fabulous tools of keeping our energy strong. Besides that, there's daily exercise. Now, Master said every day you should exercise long enough until you break a sweat. Now, I'm here in Gurgaon in Delhi, and I've been living here some 15 years now. Now, in the summertime, you just have to walk outside. I mean, you can break a sweat in your house. Really, you don't have to go outside and exercise. But he was meaning to work your body until you feel the circulation stronger, your heart is stronger. And this is an important thing to do every day. I was at Lodi Garden. It's a beautiful garden near where I live in Delhi. 6 o'clock in the morning, people everywhere, of course, everybody had on a mask, but people were jogging, people were doing yoga, people were walking, and I just had to applaud people that they're up and getting energy into their bodies. And so that's the physical part. Now, what about the mental part? Mentally, we have to keep a strong mind to have energy. You can't be wimp and limp and, oh, I don't feel like it. We remember the story of Master and Swamiji walking by Master, and Master saying, well, how are you, Walter? And Swamiji went, well, and Master said, that's good. And isn't that great? He just stamped out that heavy feeling. And I recall when we lived in Italy, Swamiji would call us on Monday mornings, and those of you who were there, you would remember. And most of us would be flat out in bed. It was 7 o'clock on Monday mornings, our time. And Swamiji, he'd get you on the phone. He wanted to talk to every person. And he said, how are you doing? And it's the same kind of, well, good. And it was just the mental energy has to be there to keep your energy strong. And so positivity, cheerfulness, selflessness, all of these things help to keep your magnetism and your energy strong mentally. And I was remembering a couple of wonderful stories. Some of you probably know them, that there was a group of the monks who was building at 29 Palms a swimming pool for Master. And Master never used the pool, Swamiji said, but he had them busy, to be near him. And so then they were all working, and I believe they worked 23 hours straight with snacks in between, but they had to keep working because of that kind of seva that they were doing. So they were chanting, they were happily doing it, all except for one person. He worked for 1 hour and then sat the rest of the time out. By the end, Swamiji said they were so full of energy. They were so happy to have done it for their guru. All except, and they were full of energy, except the one man who didn't do anything. He did work for 1 hour. Oh, I'm exhausted. So as you do things for the guru, you have energy. There's also a wonderful story of, it was one of the monks who had a double curvature of the spine. He could barely get up in the mornings, and he would have to just roll himself to be able to get up. And then Master gave him the job of getting on the tractor. I mean, can you imagine? He could barely make it out of bed, and Master said, your job is on the tractor. So he was doing well. This is the important thing. He was doing well until he started thinking of himself. Now, this is the point about energy. If you're thinking about yourself, you're going to be tired. So people start saying, well, aren't you, you must be unwell. Maybe you need to be in bed, or whatever they were saying. And he bought into it. So he told Master, no, I don't want to be on the tractor anymore. And Master said, oh, it's okay. It's fine, whatever. But he was getting his energy from the guru. And I think this is the thing we have to remember. Master's giving us energy. Babaji's giving us energy. God's giving us the energy to do these things. And so the man got weaker and weaker. He didn't do that job anymore. He got bedridden, and then he left the path. We have to realize the guru's energy is in us. And the more we say, I will, I can, I'm willing, then we open the whole channel for him to flow through us and work miracles. I remember Swamiji's story of how at first with the yoga postures, he said he couldn't do one posture hardly at all. And then when Master asked him to perform the postures, he said suddenly he could get into all the postures. And he realized that it was Master who was helping him to do the postures. He said he became the expert at the yoga postures. So our attitude has to be right. Yes, I will do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. I'm willing. And then you find that you have energy to do everything you want to do. The next topic on having energy is about the music, what you listen to. Now, I have to say that I grew up with Rajasic music, jazz and whatever was the music of that day. And it was loud and it was heavy. I mean, some of it was very, brought you down. You could feel the blues and you were depressed. But I thought, well, that's how people feel. So then I started playing the violin. Wow, I loved it. Classical music, I thought, this kind of music exists? Then I played the cello. Wow, I loved it. I ended up playing the cello. I might have played the violin a little bit, but in the Ananda Orchestra, the very first Ananda Orchestra, it was wonderful. But anyway, when I came out of that heavy music, I started playing classical music. And then when I heard Swamiji's music, I was just completely taken. When I heard Master's chants, and when I heard him play the Tanpura, I remember I said, those are the strings I was looking for in the violin and the cello, that wonderful music. And Swamiji said his music is attuned to the Om vibration. Master said he spiritualized his chants. He sang them over and over and over. Now, does that energize you? Of course it does. It lifts your spirit. It lifts your energy. You feel happy. You feel more on a super conscious level when you chant this music, when you sing this music and chant. Now, there have been experiments done, and you can Google this. I use these in the music classes, but today I reviewed because I think it's fascinating, music and plants. And they tell you that plants, they have energy, they give out energy, and they feel energy, and they feel vibrations. And they put plants next to speakers with music that was boom, 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 heavy music. Now, I've gotten in people's cars here in India who are giving me a ride, and they had that kind of music on. And I said, now, you don't listen to that, do you? No, Dhyanaji, I don't listen to that. So why is it on? So be careful what you listen to. And so they put the plants next to the speakers, and they played some heavy metal or heavy beat music, and the plants, the plants went away from the speakers. They went and they tried to crawl out of the room completely. And other plants they put next to the speakers, in 2 weeks they were dead. That's an amazing experiment because of the heaviness of that music. We have the total opposite of that. And also today I found again online, I had researched this before. I was surprised to see it before. I was surprised to see it today. But it's an interesting thing. That's why I wanted to mention it to you. There were experiments done in Australia and also in England with cows. One at a monastery, one just a farmer. And they played classical music and relaxing music to the cows. And the cows gave more milk. Now that's an incredible thing, because they were more relaxed, whatever. But for all of us, we have to realize that what we listen to, there's many experiments. Dr. Emoto, as well, with his experiments on water and frozen water, that he would say different things and play different types of music. And the water crystals, once he froze that water, were beautiful, with beautiful music. And it said that the plants who heard the music that was classical, Indian ragas, they loved the best. The plants just went to the speakers, wrapped around the speakers if they could, and grew very, very fast and very big. And so it's very important. We think, no, I'll listen to whatever, I'll listen to somebody else. And I've heard people say, no, I'm doing something just like energization. No, it's just like Kriya. It's just like, if it's just like, why don't you do what Swamiji and Master gave? And so the music is very important as well. And I read something that's so interesting, and this is all from Swamiji. And Swamiji says here, listen, that the violin, the sitar, the bells, tanpura, flute, and the violin opens the heart, but they dissolve stress, mental worries, problems, and they are soothing to the brain. And all those instruments are related to the chakras. And the tabla, he said, loosens, Master said, loosens the karma in the spine. Master would beat a big drum, and Dr. Lewis would say, oh, I don't like it. And Master would say, come on, doctor, get into it. It loosens the karma in the spine. And so this as well, this music is a very important part of energizing ourselves. Now, this next part I want to go into, the diet. First thing is your mental diet. Be careful what you watch. If you watch on television, be careful what you read. Spiritual books give a blessing. Be careful what you look at on the internet. Be careful of watching too much news. All of these things affect your energy level. And I remember one man, because I was saying, don't watch so much television. Also, the movies you watch, make sure they're uplifting movies. And he said, he came to one of the classes, and I think this was Mumbai, and he came back the next time, and he says, well, Dhyanaji, I can't stop watching television, but through the exercises, now I can sit up and watch TV. And I said, go, at least that's a good step. But be careful, because you find that you watch too much of the news and you just get a stomach ache and you feel terrible. So just be balanced in all of those things. And with foods, there are foods that clog you, a lot of white flour, a lot of white sugar, too many sweets. Here again, I said to one of the members who was in a Raja Yoga class, because in India, there's a lot of sweets, I'll tell you that. And I said to this fellow, I said, now, isn't it enough? I mean, to the whole class, isn't it enough, like, gulab jamun is nice, but isn't it enough to just have just one? That's all you need is one. And he says, no, you need 4. And it was like, if you just pull back a little bit, you just feel better. I remember Swamiji told somebody who was asking how to have more energy to go into meditation more deeply. Swamiji said, eat less ice cream. Wow, now that's really something. You would think, oh, it doesn't matter. But all these things do. And then Master gives in his spiritual qualities of foods, he gives, I just got a couple that relate to energy. He says, for almonds are generally, have a lot of vitality. Almonds, almond butter, all citrus fruits banish melancholy and stimulate the brain. Cherries make you cheerful. Tomatoes and corn are for mental strength. And then one last interesting thing that I found, and you have to dig for these things sometimes. Living wisely, living well, Swamiji talks about colors and how colors affect you. And we all remember, those of us who saw him, that he always had beautiful, before the Naiswami order, and then with that, beautiful blue, but he had beautiful colors, jewel tones. And he talked about in that book how important colors are to our energy. And the colors that he talked about were jewel tone colors. And here again, I just picked out a couple of them. He said red. Red is for cheerfulness. Now, I'm only giving the positive qualities. You can read the book yourself when he goes into what the negative sides would be. Orange is a color of fire. It gives you a lot of energy and vitality, and it's good for destroying desires and attachments. 2 more. Yellow is for wisdom and creativity. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, green is for health and for harmony. So all of these teachings have come out of Master's teachings. He's given something for just about everything. And what I'd like to do now as we close is close with one of his affirmations, an affirmation that brings energy, brings vitality. And I'd like you first to inhale, tense your body. You can be seated or stand. Inhale, tense, exhale, relax. Once more. And once more. And each of these areas that I spoke about, please try to just change a little bit. Change the food a little bit, change the colors a little bit, change the different things that I spoke about with the music and all the energization. All of these things will help you to have more energy. And especially at these times, do more. I see people barely energizing. Oh, I'm too tired. I've been sitting on the couch all day and I can't get up. I said, get up. It's time to get up. It's time to get your toolbox out and pull those techniques out and get your energy up. And then as your aura is strong, your energy is strong, your magnetism is strong, whatever's coming will not hit you and will not knock you over. So let's end with this wonderful affirmation. This is from Swamiji, I believe. Let me say the whole thing first, and then we'll do it together. Yes, from Swamiji. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Please close your eyes and say it with me. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Now more softly going into the subconscious mind. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Now whispering, focusing up at the spiritual eye, the level of superconsciousness. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Mentally repeat it to yourself. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Rub your hands together. Feel the infinite cosmic energy flowing through you as you raise your hands and we chant Om as channels of this energy flowing out to the world. Om. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. God bless you all.